We're going to go over 56 balance changes that are coming to Brawl Stars sometime next week. This is a mostly final list of balance changes, but most of these are going to happen. First up, we got Jae Young, who is getting 2 buffs. First up is his Crowd Goes Mild star power. This star power gives Jae Young a movement speed buff whenever he's close to teammates. It's a 10% movement speed buff, but after balance changes, it's going to be a 15% movement speed, so he'll go even faster. I should mention that Supercell did not provide a developer build for these balance changes, so I can't show them. You're going to have to use your imagination, but I'll make it clear and easy for you to understand. Next is a buff to the amount of health that he's able to heal for teammates. It's currently 1300, and after the balance changes, it'll be 1500. That's a 15% healing buff. Next is B, who's getting 2 buffs. Starting off with her Rattled Hive gadget. The cooldown of this is currently 24 seconds, and after the balance changes go live, it's going to be a 20-second cooldown for her gadget. That means that if you activate it every single time it pops up, you're going to have it up 17% more frequently. She's also getting a buff to her super damage. So the damage currently is 200. After the balance changes, it's going to go up to 230. Pretty massive change, right? Obviously, this is much more impactful on a fully charged super. So that's going to go from 1400 to 1610 damage with a single full charged super. That's 30% more damage with her super. I don't know if these 2 changes are going to make B like truly amazing, but I'm personally a really big fan of playing B, so I'm excited to see how she feels. Ziggy is getting a buff. It's a 6% buff to how quickly he's able to charge up his super. So it's going from 5 total hits to charge up a super to maybe 4 hits. We'll have to wait and see if it's actually 4 hits. That would be really good. My guess is most likely it's only going to impact things when he recharges his super just a little bit and is able to use multiple supers more frequently as long as his super hits a little bit. We'll see though. Jackie's getting a small buff. Her Hardy Hard Hat star power reduces damage that she takes by 20%. After balance changes, that percent is going from 20% up to 25%. So she's going to have a little bit more total health, essentially, when you use this star power. Jesse's getting a buff. Everybody loves to see one of their favorite brawlers get a buff, right? I don't know if you guys love Jesse, but I love Jesse. Super damage is increasing from 520 to 600 damage. So she is indeed getting a 15% buff. The fact that she's getting a damage buff to her super, and the fact she does have an epic gear makes me wonder if maybe Jesse's going to be one of the brawlers with a Buffy in the next update. Guess we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't complain, because she's one of my favorite brawlers. Colette is getting a buff. Her supercharge rate is getting increased by 10%. So she'll go from 5 attacks charging up her super to maybe charging it in 4? Wow, that would be strong. Janet's getting a buff. Her main attack damage at max level is going from 2000 damage up to 2200 damage. That is a 10% damage buff. That means that out of the 106 brawlers in the game, she's going to be able to take out 27 of them with 1 less ammo. That's a pretty significant change for Janet. Next is a Maisie buff. Maisie's attack speed is getting a 10% speed buff, so it's going to be even faster than it is right here in this footage you're seeing. By 10%, Clancy's getting 2 nerfs and a buff. Apparently, he's really difficult to balance because he's had a lot of different balance changes since he's been released. First up is a nerf to his reload speed. It's getting a 10% nerf, and as you can see, his attack is already really slow to reload, so 10% slower is pretty rough on Clancy. Now, currently, it takes Clancy 6 shots in order for him to go from stage 1 to stage 2. That number is decreasing from 6 down to 5 shots to get up to stage 2. This means he's going to be reaching stage 2 a little bit faster. However, the number of hits in order for Clancy to reach stage 3 is increasing from 21 up to 24. In other words, Clancy's going to reach stage 2 17% faster, but it's going to take him 14% longer to reach stage 3 in total. So getting to stage 2 sooner is good. Even if being at stage 2 for longer is bad. Bo is getting 2 buffs. First is a 9% buff to his attack damage. So every single arrow's damage is increasing from 1280 up to 1400. This is a 9% buff, and that means that Bo is going to be able to take out 9 of the 106 brawlers in the game completely out with 1 less ammo than he required before. Interestingly enough, his supercharge rate is going to get nerfed. It's an 8% nerf, so he's going from being able to charge up his super in 3 ammo, that is 9 hits, to requiring 10 hits, which means it's going to take 4 ammo for him to charge up his super. So Bo's going to be a little bit less about actually just cycling supers and stuff like that, and a little bit more about doing damage, though I still think that his potential for recycling supers against people who don't know how to handle mines is going to be just fine. Eve is getting 2 very strong buffs. So normally Eve's super will actually release 3 hatchlings every single time, okay? That number 3 is increasing by 33% up to 4 hatchlings every single time she uses her super. Now, this is the exact same effect as her quadruplets mythic gear has. So this just has me speculating. Maybe Eve is another brawler to get Buffy's next update, which could make sense because Ruffs is also getting some balance changes, which we'll talk about that later. So it could be Jessie, Pam, and Nani, along with Eve, Ruffs, and Squeak. Just a guess, just total speculation here. In addition to her super charge or releasing 4 hatchlings, her super charge rate from her super is increasing by 17%. I call this a recharge rate. So basically, she's going to release more hatchlings, and those hatchlings are going to recharge her super more, which means, or by 17% more. So we got roughly a third of a super with all of those actually dealing full damage. So after the update, we could expect her super to charge up her own super close to 40%. That's just a rough estimate based off of me eyeballing stuff, which is not always great, but you get the idea. Not gonna lie, Eve is another brawler that I actually really enjoy playing a lot, but she has been outshined by a ton of brawlers who can very easily deal with her spawns. So my hope is that she becomes a little bit more meta relevant, but I don't know, we'll see. Pretty much whichever brawlers get Buffy's next update are going to be the meta relevant brawlers with maybe a few other exceptions. Oh, like new brawlers, those could be as well. Anyway, Buster's getting 2 buffs. First up is his utility gadget. The way this gadget works is Buster is able to activate it and he heals 900 health for every ally in his circle. So that 900 can double to 1800 if he has another ally in his circle, and that can increase even more with a third ally or a second ally in his circle. That healing is increasing from 900 to 1200. That's 33% more healing for every ally in his circle. Additionally, his Blockbuster star power is also getting a buff. This increases the damage of his attack by 15% for each ally in his circle. That 15% is increasing to 20% for every ally in his circle. So with 2 allies in his circle, we're talking 40% extra damage with every attack. Tara is getting 4 buffs, which sounds a lot scarier than it actually is. They are all 4 of them are to her 2 star powers. First of all, the health of both of her shadows are increasing up to 4,000 health for her shadow. Now, this is significant because this is an 18% health buff for her black portal shadow, which is the one you can see right here, which is attacking enemies. Her healing shade star power, which heals teammates, is also increasing from to 4,000, but Healing Shade actually has less health. It has 3,000, so this is a 33% buff to this Healing Shade's health. But both of these star powers are getting a second buff as well. Black Portal's damage is increasing from 800 per swipe to 1,000 damage per swipe. That's 15% more damage. And the healing from her Healing Shade star power is increasing from 400 health per attack to 600 health, which is 50% more healing. This is going to be a very strong star power, I think. The one you choose might depend on the map, the mode, the brawlers that you're playing with and against, and whether or not you think you can keep the Healing Shade alive. But if you can keep the Healing Shade alive, I think that this is going to make Tara, well, I guess not actually like that crazy difficult to deal with. 4,000 health isn't that much. I got a little excited because I like that star power so much. But still, stronger shadows for Tara. Melody is getting 3 buffs, which she desperately needs because she's only really been okay in Heist, and she hasn't even been that good in Heist. First is a buff to her health. She has 7,600 health at max level. That is increasing by 5% up to 8,000 health per level. This means that out of the 106 brawlers in the game, she's going to be able to survive 1 additional ammo from 22 of those 106 brawlers. She's also getting 2 buffs to her Pitch Perfect gadget. First is a massive cooldown buff. Okay, so it has a 14-second cooldown, which is already really fast. The cooldown is decreasing from 14 seconds down to 10 seconds only. That's actually crazy, especially considering that it has a really long duration, which actually brings up a good point. The duration of this gadget is actually kind of included in the reload time of it. So it's not actually only going to be 10 seconds. And the numbers here might make this seem like it's a 29% buff, but it's actually not going to be because that duration is included before it can actually cool down. But it's still a buff, and it's not this gadget's only buff. So this gadget also increased the movement speed of the notes. The movement speed gets buffed by 25%, and that 25% buff is increasing to a 35% movement speed buff. So they're going to be moving even faster than what you're seeing right here. I don't actually know that it's going to make her give her what she needs to be competitive in as many modes as you might want her to be, but you know, small little changes do make a difference over time. Next, we have Lola, who's getting 3 buffs, and these are significant buffs. Currently, her ego has a slightly slower movement speed compared to Lola's. As you can see right here, the ego is falling a little bit behind, which means that it's not perfect sync with her. And that means that it can get stuck behind walls or various things where you would otherwise not expect it to get stuck, right? After the balance changes drop, it's going to have the exact same movement speed as Lola's. So the sync it's going to be 1-to-1 synced perfectly with Lola unless something really weird happens. Like you could still throw it over to the right and it could still get trapped behind a wall. But if you drop it down on yourself, then it's going to stay perfectly on top of you. Now you'll notice that this ego has 4,400 total health. That is getting a massive buff to 8,000 health. An 82% health buff is crazy significant. It's going to make it so that it matches Lola's total health. That's crazy. Plus it's got the shield here, which, man, it's a really good strong buff. Now Lola's hypercharge increases the health even further of her super, and that is getting a nerf. Currently, her hypercharge increases the health by 3,000. That number is decreasing to 2,000. So what that means is that you have a 5,200 Lola health that's hypercharged right now. After the update, it will have 10,000 total health. So 2,000 more than Lola has, and that is a ton of health. I think that Lola is going to be actually pretty good with these changes. I'm excited to play Lola after these changes. Her ego is going to be very difficult to take out. Okay, next we have 3 buffs to Leon's clone projector gadget. First is a buff to its attack range. You might call this a melee attack. It's really, really close. Now, the number that they gave us is that it's increasing from 5 to 10. That might confuse you because most players don't know that the actual attack range of a brawler is actually like a third of a tile. It's not exactly like that, but that's close to what it's like. So it's increasing from 5, which looks like this, to 10, which will probably be about this far away from a brawler. So you can still run away from it, but it's going to be significantly more annoying to deal with. Not just because of the range, but the damage is also increasing, okay? It's going from 200, which is actually, I don't know why they gave me notes for 200. It's 172 in the current live build, but they told me it's going from 200 to 6. Wait, why is it doing 200 now? I am really confused. There's nothing about this gadget that would suggest that it does less damage to different types of enemies. And yet it is clearly doing 172 damage to these enemies. Wait a second, is it because its attacks are similar to Leon's? It is! What the heck? Holy cow. Okay. This changes things. So it's the distance to the target that actually matters, which means that since it has a further range, it'll actually, the damage will actually scale depending on how close the Leon clone is. At max range, it will be 600, but further away, we don't know what the minimum range is going to be. It might end up being still like 172. It might be tickling from a distance. That's really funny. We discovered something live here for you people. Now, there is one other change that's going to be happening to this clone projector gadget, and that is the movement speed of it. Currently, it is a little bit slower than Leon is. Let's grab a better shot of that. Just a little bit slower than Leon is. Leon's able to kind of catch up. The movement speed is going to be matching Leon after the changes. And Leon himself has a very fast movement speed, which is faster than most of the brawlers in the game. So the clone is going to be able to attack from him further, deal more damage, and chase down more brawlers. Kind of cool. Dynamite's fidget spinner gadget is getting a buff. I don't know what's going to make it compete with Satchel Charge, but a buff is a buff. It's pretty simple. Currently, it does 2,400 damage if it hits a target, and that is increasing to 2,800 damage. It's a 17% damage buff, and I will absolutely 100% still be sticking with Satchel Charge because this gadget is one of the most broken gadgets in the game. Hank is getting a buff. Ooh, to his health. He currently has 10,400 health. That is being bumped up to 11,000 total health. It's 6% more health out of all the brawlers in the game. he's going to be able to survive 1 additional ammo from 20 of the brawlers. Shade is getting a buff to his spooky speedster star power. This increases the movement speed of Shade whenever he hits an enemy in the center of his attack. That additional speed buff is going from 15% additional movement speed to 20% additional movement speed. The speed buff of this used to stack, and it no longer stacks, and so I think they're trying to make this a little bit more worth using now. Those are all of the buffs coming to Brawl Stars, other than some Brawl Arena ones, which I'll talk about later. Now we have all of the nerfs coming to your favorite brawlers, the newest brawlers, the buffied brawlers, and the other brawlers that still need some nerfs. Next is a nerf to Ash. Ash has the tank trait, which means that he charges up his super a little bit every single time he takes damage. The amount of supercharge that he gets from taking damage is being reduced by 15%. So he'll still be charging up his super primarily the way that he normally would by doing damage and stuff like that, but charging up his super less just from taking damage. Wendy is getting 4 nerfs. First is her supercharge rate. So the charge rate is being decreased by 15%. So it used to take 5 hits for her to charge her super. That's going to be increased to 6 hits for her to charge her super. That's not the only nerf to how quickly she charges her super. You know that 4,000 extra health that Wendy has? Every single time she takes damage from that, then she actually charges her super a little bit. A full 4,000 extra health shield will actually charge her super up halfway. And what that means is that she's then able to charge her super in 3 attacks afterwards. The amount that she's able to charge from that total 4,000 HP is actually being reduced from 50% charged up to only 30%. So right about there. So we'll charge 30%, and then her supercharge rate is also getting a nerf, which means it is probably going to take 4 additional hits in order for her to charge her super up. It's a little confusing. What you need to know is she gets less super less frequently. Additionally, though, the health of her super is being reduced from 7,000 health down to only 5,000 health. This is a 29% nerf to how much health her turret is able to provide both Wendy and or her teammates. Now, currently, the shield actually reduces incoming damage by 75%. That number is being reduced to 60% damage reduction. So she charges her super less frequently, her super has less health, and it doesn't shield for as much health as it used to. Lots of good changes. I don't know how good Wendy's going to be after these changes. She's certainly going to be less strong than she is now, though. And thank goodness. She's not the only new brawler getting nerfs, though. Nori's getting 2 nerfs. First up is a nerf to his sushi snack gadget. The gadget cooldown is being increased from 12 seconds to 18 seconds. So you'll be able to use that gadget 50% less frequently. And you'll notice he has 7,600 total health. He is also getting an 8% nerf to his health. So it'll go down to 7,000 total health. Out of the 106 brawlers in the game, that means Nori's going to be able to survive 1 less ammo from 25 of the brawlers in the game. 8% is actually a pretty significant nerf to Nori, I think. I think that's going to put him in a harder place. Mega's getting 2 nerfs. First is her toolbox gadget. That's this gadget, which honestly, in my opinion, is super broken and strong. The cooldown of it is increasing from 22 seconds to 25 seconds. That's a 14% nerf to how frequently you can use that gadget. Additionally, is her star power, her force field, is being nerfed from a 40% shield for 5 seconds after her mecha is destroyed to a 30% shield after her mecha is destroyed. Meg's not the only recently buffied brawler who is getting some nerfs. Next, we have Griff getting 2 nerfs. First is his gadget, his coin shower gadget. The cooldown is increasing from 15 seconds to 18 seconds. That's a 20% nerf to how frequently you can use it. Additionally, his super recharge rate is getting a nerf. So how much his super recharges his super is decreasing by 20%. Max is getting 3 nerfs. Okay, so first off, we have her hyper buffy supercharge reduced from 7% to 6%. So if you didn't know, Max's hyper buffy makes it so that her attacks actually charge both her and teammates who are close by their supers by 7%. 7%. Oh my gosh. So Max and her teammates get 7% supercharge every time her attack hits an enemy while she's hyper buffied hypercharged buffied. Oh my gosh. That 7% is decreasing to 6%. So Max will have her super recharged a little bit slower, and her teammates will not get as much supercharge from Max hitting enemies when she's standing really close to them. Additionally, both her gadgets are getting the same nerf. The cooldown is increasing from 15 seconds up to 18 seconds, which is a 20% nerf to how frequently you can use either one of them. Bolta's getting an interesting nerf. So his acceleration speed is being reduced by 15%. So we're not talking about his total max speed. We're talking about acceleration, which is the rate at which he increases his speed. So this is going to make it so that he takes longer to reach max speed, though his max speed will actually stay the same. Brock's Hyper Buffy is getting a nerf. While Hyper Buffied, Brock's attacks fire 2 rockets off to the side that do 60% damage compared to his regular rockets attack. That 60% damage is being reduced to 50% damage. So instead of doing 1,460 damage, they'll do 1,218 damage. Lumi is getting an interesting nerf. If you didn't know, Lumi's attacks do different amounts of damage when they go out versus when they come in. 1,200 damage going out and 1,800 damage coming in. The amount of damage that she does coming back is being reduced from 1,800 to 1,600. This is an 11% damage nerf, but only on recall damage. The amount of damage that she does going out is staying the same. Rico's getting 3 nerfs. First is a nerf to his multi-ball launcher. The cooldown's increasing from 19 seconds to 22 seconds. So that is a 16% reduction in how frequently you'll be able to use this gadget. His bouncy castle gadget is also getting a nerf. It is a damage nerf. So right now it does 1,690 damage. That's being decreased to 1,800 damage, which is an 8% nerf to the damage. He's also getting a nerf to his buffied Robo Retreat star power with the star buffy. This star power buffy increases his movement speed when he's up to 10% of health. So he gets even like crazy faster as he gets lower and lower and lower. And the maximum movement speed is decreasing from 60% faster down to only 50% faster. We also have a nerf to Ruffs. Ruffs' supercharge rate is being nerfed by 20%. Okay, so he's going from requiring 7 hits in order for him to charge a super to 9 hits in order for him to charge a super. Those are the 56 balance changes coming to Brawl Stars in the main game. We also have 13 balance changes coming to Brawl Arena. I know that not everybody cares about Brawl Arena, so I'm not going to talk about them individually, but I did want to throw out some images over there for you, just going over all of them. So for those of you guys that care, you got them, the buffs and the nerfs. So I want to know, which brawlers do you think got missed? The brawlers that you think should have gotten buffs or nerfs but didn't. And what do you think of these existing balance changes that are coming sometime next week? Make sure you guys subscribe right here because we're going to be doing some update sneak peeks coming in a few days and you're not going to want to miss them. We'll see you in the next video.